Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be going through Ari Aster's film career and interpreting his latest film, Beau is Afraid, which is his most cryptic and divisive work to date. But in order to do that, we must first look through his previous work. Ari Aster is one of Hollywood's fastest rising movie director. He started his career by directing short films, of which his two biggest shorts are Munchausen and The Strange Things About the Johnsons. He was then discovered by A24, debuting with the hit horror movie Hereditary, followed by Midsommar and his latest movie Beau is Afraid. Although I can't find any pictures of Ari Aster doing common Masonic poses, it is safe to say that Aster is deeply knowledgeable in the occult, and his movies displays frequent satanic imagery and themes such as sexual abuse, suicide, demonic possession, and human sacrifice. Let's start with his two short films. Both shorts deal with mother and father issues as well as death and incest, dark themes which he continues to explore in his feature films. Munchausen is about a jealous and controlling mother who decides to poison her son when she finds out he has outgrown her and fallen in love with a girl in college. The young man returns home to visit his parents and she poisons him to keep him sick and bedridden. But her horrible actions leads to an overdose, resulting in her child's death. The Strange Things About the Johnsons is about a son who sexually abuses his father, leading to his father's death. The mother reveals she knows about her son's evil deeds and kills him in an act of vengeance. Both of Aster's parents are creatives like him. His father is a musician and his mother is a poet and artist. Not much info is presented about them, but here are images of his mother's artwork. Notice the morbid images dealing with dark themes similar to her son's work. Okay, let's do a quick summary on his debut film Hereditary. Hereditary is about a woman who finds out that her deceased mother belonged to a demonolatry cult who worships Payman as their patron demon. Payman could be related to the Syrian god Arsu, who also rode a camel and is believed to have been a deity nomadic travelers worshipped for protection and safe passage. Payman is also mentioned all the way back in the mid-17th century in the grimoire The Lesser Key of Solomon. A grimoire is a spell book with instructions on how to perform rituals as well as summoning spells. The Lesser Key of Solomon is a collection of grimoires rumored to have come from King Solomon himself. Freemasons believe their lineage stems from the Masons who built the Temple of Solomon, and the prophet is Hiram Abiff, who was the architect of Solomon's temple. The modern English version of The Lesser Key of Solomon was translated by Aleister Crowley and Samuel MacGregor Mathers, both members of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, an offshoot of Freemasonry created by high-ranking Freemasons who wanted to practice more ceremonial magic in a more exclusive organization that also allowed female initiates. Here is a quote from Aster, where he says he has a good relationship with his family. He then contradicts himself in the following quote, where he explains that there has been a lot of suffering in his family history, which has affected the people he cares about the most. After the death of her daughter, the mother is tricked by the cult into invoking Payman, who possesses her son and wipes out the rest of the family. Payman is a demon of knowledge. It is said by summoning him, the follower will receive knowledge of all arts and secrets of the world. Demonolatry is the worship of demons, with multiple small congregations or cults spread around the world based on who they worship as the patron demon. The most popular demons worshipped are Lucifer, Furious, Leviathan, Belial, Satan, and Baphomet. Some cults worship a single demon, while others worship multiple demons. This is known as a pantheon. Like Freemasonry, most demonolatry cults have a vow of silence as well as multiple degrees of initiation. The most common degrees are Initiate, Adept, Assistant Priest, and High Priesthood. But since demonolatry cults are more clandestine and varies in teachings, these structures can vary depending on the specific cult. Ritual satanic abuse is a real phenomenon, and many victims have escaped and spoken out about their abuse. Unfortunately, it is being brushed off by mainstream media as a right-wing conspiracy, labeled by them as the Satanic Panic. Invoking rituals are also a real thing, as proven by Aleister Crowley, which I will go into more detail later on in this video. A quick note, the theme of decapitation plays an important role in the movie and appears 3 times as the head of the grandmother, the mother, and daughter are removed from their body. This is a symbol for John the Baptist, whose decapitated head was rumored to have been worshipped by the Knights Templar, a precursor to modern Freemasonry. As you can see here, there are multiple images of Hollywood celebrities and models holding a decapitated head as a fashion statement. Alright, let's move on. Aster's second movie, Midsommar, is about a traumatized woman who finds out her sister has committed suicide and taken their parents with her. Danny and her group of friends are invited by a Swedish friend to travel to Sweden and participate in an event called Midsommar. The group of friends realize they are in a death cult and are killed off one by one. The death ritual they perform is based on a real ritual called Ättestupa. The reason for performing this ritual is believed to be because in the long-distant past, life in Sweden was very harsh, and tribes couldn't support the elders or the sick who couldn't contribute to the tribe. Therefore, the elders and the sick took their lives to lessen the burden on the tribe, and as a sacrificial offerings to the gods. Today, there are multiple cliffs around Sweden named Ättestupa. Similar to the obelisk, the maypole is a form of phallic worship, attributed to the Norse god Freyr, known for fertility and good harvest. Another disturbing theme in the movie is the cult's desire for Aryan purity. This reflects our current society, where the majority of those in power are all of Aryan heritage and wish to create a world they control through careful eugenics and selective breeding for those they deem fit for reproduction. They state this openly on the Georgia Guidestones, which state the new 10 commandments of the new Masonic world order. 6 magic rituals were made famous by Aleister Crowley, who is seen by many occultists as a prophet. Today, many celebrities pay respect to Aleister Crowley, who channeled the spirit of Aiwass through his wife inside the Egyptian pyramid and created a satanic left-hand path Bible known as Liber al Vel Legis, or the Book of the Law. The most famous commandment in his Bible is "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law," which means put your desires above all else. The teachings of Aleister Crowley has spread throughout different Masonic sects, and magic is still practiced today by organizations such as Thelema, Ordo Templi Orientis, Fraternitas Aeternis, as well as within the inner core of high-ranking elite Freemasons as revealed in Stanley Kubrick's movie Eyes Wide Shut. The practice of modern magic are based on tantric yoga practices of the Aghoris from India, who practiced cannibalism on dead corpses, smeared cremation on their skin, and drank blood and consumed feces to reach enlightenment via the left-hand path. The movie ends with Danny choosing to sacrifice her boyfriend after finding him cheating on her. Notice here how the head priest has a red hat with a Masonic eye symbol. The red hat could be based on the Shriners' red hat. The Shriners are an invite-only organization within Freemasonry that specializes in charity and community work to give Freemasonry a good public image. Also notice the sigil on the wall here, which represents Gungnir, meaning Odin's spear. It looks like the cult worships Odin as their patron god. The yellow triangle and rays of light is a clear Masonic symbol, meaning illumination for the chosen ones. Alright, now that we have seen similar themes of satanic rituals, child abuse and trauma in Aster's previous movies, let's look at his latest film, Beau is Afraid, and try to interpret its true meaning and the director's intentions. Beau is a schizophrenic man who is completely controlled by his mother. He lives in a dangerous urban area with multiple eccentric and violent characters. The original title of this movie was Disappointment Boulevard, which could allude to Hollywood Boulevard. This could be interpreted as Aster feeling trapped in Hollywood and being surrounded by similar bipolar, narcissistic, and schizophrenic characters around him, and could also allude to the future state of America, which must degenerate into violence, addiction, and sodomy for the final stages of the Masonic world order to reach its fruition. Beau takes a fictional drug called hypnotisril, which is a fictional drug similar to Z-drugs or benzos, which are used to help treat patients with insomnia and anxiety. He is chased multiple times by a demonically possessed and fully tattooed man, which can be interpreted as Aster being chased by his demons. Notice the tattoos on his arm, which has a wooden cross and an atom symbol, with a hexagram, which is another symbol for Saturn. There is a scene where Beau returns to his apartment, which has been occupied and trashed by his neighbors. Notice the blood and feces on the wall, which is an homage to Marina Abramovich's Spirit Cooking, an art piece created by the famous performance artist who is also an occultist. Her instructions for spirit cooking involves consuming your own blood mixed with breast milk and semen, similar to the practices of the Aghoris I described earlier. Beau then runs out naked and fights off another naked man who appeared in the news as a local serial killer. He is threatened by a corrupt officer, and he is then hit by a food truck and saved by a couple. This whole portion of the movie is a form of programming to normalize the public to a future where violence is the norm and the majority of the population will live in poverty. Comedy is a popular genre used by Hollywood to hint and conceal the truth in plain sight. Alright, let's move on. The second part of the movie takes place at the couple's home, where Beau is recovering. Notice the statue of Mary and Jesus, which Beau holds dear to him. Mother and child worship can be found throughout all religions dating back to the start of civilization. This statue is a big hint to the nature of Beau's divine birth as the son of a god, which we will get into later on in this video. Beau is introduced to the couple's daughter, Tony, who is deeply disturbed and addicted to pills. When Beau recovers, he asks to leave, but the couple refuses to let him go home, another sign of cult-like behavior. The family also has another prisoner, a discharged soldier who served with their deceased son. The soldier struggles with PTSD and is under mind control through constant administration of drugs. Syringe imagery can also be seen in other forms of media, such as Billie Eilish's music video, and is a symbolism for MKUltra. In the future, I will be doing a breakdown of all the occult symbolism in Billie Eilish's music career. While smoking weed with Tony, Beau has a flashback to a past experience on a cruise ship with his mother. Notice how young Beau looks similar to 33rd degree Freemason Manly P. Hall, a Masonic prophet and outspoken Luciferian. Beau's mother shows hints of jealousy when she finds out that Beau is attracted to another girl on the cruise ship. His mother is emotionally manipulative and controlling, similar to his short film Munchausen. Although it's not directly shown or stated, Aster hints that Beau is being sexually abused by his mother, who freaks out when she finds out that Beau has professed his love to another girl on the cruise ship. Back in the present, Beau discovers that he's being monitored by the odd couple and is able to see his future. This is alluding to Big Brother and mass surveillance, as well as how we are not in complete control of our lives, as our paths are influenced by those in power. Later on, in a very disturbing scene, Tony forces Beau to drink paint with her, and when he refuses, she commits suicide. Here again, Aster portrays a disturbing reality today, where more Gen Z teenagers are battling mental health issues and soaring self-harm rates. Unfortunately, he decides to portray the issue as a comedic scene, normalizing self-harm. Beau manages to escape the cult and wakes up in a forest. Notice the rainbow sign, follow the rainbow, and your dreams will come true. Rainbow symbolism is used by Hollywood to trigger disassociation and mind control of monarch children who were sexually abused in a program known as MKUltra. The most famous films symbolizing child abuse and disassociation is The Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland. Beau meets a traveling theater act called Orphans of the Forest. This scene has so much symbolism, so let's go through it one by one. Here we see Beau being washed with water, symbolizing baptism and being born again. He is then greeted by a man in a ladybug costume. In the original script, the man is naked and shows him around the camp, which also had an orgy tent and a meditation tent. Again, clues that Aster originally intended the group to be a cult. He probably toned it down because he had already used naked cult imagery in his two previous films. The kind lady shows him the leader of the cult, who sits on top of a tree with a fishing rod, being given food by a cult member. The actor is credited as playing Yesikov's body, hinting that the old man is a vessel for the god they worship. The tree is also decorated with what looks like ribbons and bells, signifying its religious importance to the cult. Beau then sits down and watches a play on the stage. Aster probably got inspired by the Bohemian Grove, a yearly event held by the Bohemian Club, consisting of powerful celebrities and world leaders who gather once a year in a forest where they put on a theater act and afterwards worship an owl statue naked. The owl statue represents the god Minerva, or Athena, the goddess of wisdom. While the cult performs a play, Beau hallucinates a play with himself as the protagonist, similar to the story of the Book of Job, where a prosperous man is tested by God and has everything taken from him. The angel represents the devil, who is tasked by God to test Job and narrate his life. After escaping the cult, he hitchhikes into a town named after his surname. We find out that his mother is very rich and influential and that she faked her death to manipulate Beau. Here we have another decapitation imagery, and notice the picture of Beau's mother with a skeletal figure, which could be interpreted as his mother being into necromancy. Her portrait is made up of all her employees, signifying how the elite white-collar minority is in control of the blue-collar masses. Beau then meets the girl from the cruise and they have intercourse. She dies during climax, and although Aster does not give an explanation for her death or why she came to pay respect to his mother's funeral, one can guess whether it was his mother who invited and killed her to further manipulate Beau, or whether Beau is actually cursed. His mother reveals herself and further guilt trips Beau for not loving her. Beau demands to know who his father really is, and she forces Beau up into the attic. There he meets a phallic-shaped monster, who is revealed to be his father. The phallic monster is a symbol for Pan, a horned god who is a dark archetype of Saturn, and the precursor to the modern Christian Satan we know of today. And it is this scene which reveals that Beau is actually a moonchild. A moonchild is a ritual described by Aleister Crowley, where the initiates practice sex magic in order to summon a demon to reincarnate inside the offspring. This act was made famous by Jack Parsons, a NASA scientist and a Satanist who wanted to summon the goddess known as Babylon, in a sex ritual known as the Babylon working. The PTSD soldier manages to break into the attic and attack the phallic monster before being killed by it. This scene is very unrealistic and can be interpreted as the soldier being a split personality, the aggressive side of Beau, and it proves to show that everything is happening inside his head. Split personality is a common side effect of abused children who create a new personality in order to cope with their trauma. Beau manages to escape the attic and chokes his mother to death. He then escapes on a boat and enters a cave. Entering a cave symbolizes re-entry into the womb, rebirth, or a bridge to our subconsciousness. This means that the final scene, where Beau is judged by his mother in front of the whole crowd, is all playing inside his head. The movie ends with Beau drowning as everyone mocks and judges him. This could be interpreted sadly as Beau being unable to escape his traumatic past, his mother issues, and deciding to take his own life. So what is this movie all about? In my opinion, it is a fictional allegory to Aster's real-life issues, trying to run away from his past, which was shown in Hereditary, his journey to find the meaning of life, and jumping between different cults, and his eventual submission to the fact that he has not healed from his trauma, and that the only way to deal with the pain is by creating art. To sum it all up, it is no debate that Ari Aster is a genius filmmaker and a talent to watch out for. The man knows how to scare an audience, and he is deeply knowledgeable in the inner workings of demonolatry and the occult. A lot of the images he has shown is written in the book Demonolatry, and whether or not his filmography is based on fiction or his real-life experience is up to you to decide. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos on the Occult Mysteries Exposed.